All right. So first up, Chris Baden. Tell me about you. Like, go with, hey, I'm Chris Baden, and I help these people do this stuff. However you want to lay it out there. You don't have to be too concise. Just make it what you want.
Yeah, yeah. Well, my name's Chris Baden, and there's one problem that we kept finding show its face in the marketplace. Now, in our client work we've been doing for a while, every single one of them kept bumping in to this one specific pain. Maybe you can relate to this. It's prospecting. It's the thing that you're like, oh, I know I should do it, but I don't want it. Oh, I did a little bit. Is that enough? I forgot to do. It's that thing that just has so much different feeling and pain and emotion. A lot of times shame, or I'm past that, and now I don't have to deal with it. Well, you're not alone, and so we have been on a mission to put qualified sales appointments calls on calendars. And what we're doing is we're focused. We're pushing directly into prospecting. But see, there's ways that we realize others were doing it, and it didn't make sense to us because we've lived in this world. We, meaning myself and Sean and Melissa Malone, my partners in business and in world domination, of course. We have been focused on just building businesses. We didn't realize this is something else that others were struggling with and so afraid of, and it's vulnerable, and you don't want to be that person that's annoying other people, and then it doesn't work, and all that whole cycle, right? So we have this thing called purpose-driven prospecting. And just simply say it is, the premise is people go and they feel like they're begging. They feel like they're asking. And that's not purpose-driven prospecting. Simply put, purpose-driven prospecting is you are offering something. In fact, that's actually why they call it an offer, not a begging. And I know that might be oversimplified, but we forget this. We forget what the customer journey is, and we're buyers. We love buying. We love having our problem solved. We love watching our pain go away. Why are painkillers and pills? Pharma rules the world. Why? Because a pill takes the pain away, and prospecting takes the pain away. And so we know how to do purpose-driven prospecting and completely transform. And it is a transformation of as you know, for business owners to be able to go into the market with full conviction, with actually excitement and anticipation, because we know we're actually leading with value. We know we're actually there to give. We're actually there presenting our offer in a systematic, step-by-step way that is incredibly organic and natural, and it's actually fun for both sides. And because it's fun, we end up doing it more and more and more. And then it actually gets to a certain point, Chris, and I know you've experienced this, where you can't stop it. It actually, there's a tipping point to where it just keeps growing and growing. And you're like, oh my, this is the feeling, this is the end result that it gives. It gives you, you're like, wow, this actually gives back more than I feel that I'm even giving. And if you've ever felt in business or relationships that, man, I give and I give and I give, and you never get back you equal or greater than what you give, then purpose-driven prospecting is going to make a lot of sense for you, because it is the thing that you give just a little bit and you're actually blown away by what comes back. It's insanely powerful, and we didn't realize that not everyone, most people understand it, but they don't know how to implement it, and they don't know how to catch themselves when they get off track. And sometimes it's years that we forget this. And at the end of that, physically, mentally, spiritually, emotionally, and most prevalent and like surface facing is financially, we're bankrupt, and it's frustrating and it's painful and it sucks. So purpose-driven prospecting is what we've been focused on, and we have we have two, but there's one really specific one that we're seeing a great result for in the marketplace.
So, Chris, you're somebody that I truly, honestly trust to take me or anybody else through this process. And we're all marketers in some way, even people who don't think they're marketers. We're all selling ourselves and promoting our best selves somehow. And so it's hard to trust. It's hard to trust somebody else to teach us and walk us through a process. Kind of give us some backstory. What brought you to this place where you're the person to go to on this?
That's a great question. So the true answer is I didn't see it coming.
Huh.
Um,
Always the best things in life. That's the way it works.
Yeah, like I got tricked into it. I got sucked into it. I don't know, probably for some of the similar reasons you did, Chris, or like anyone, whoever's watching this, because I learned it. It can be learned through music. It can be learned through whatever your craft is. For me, it ended up being sales. And even earlier in life, sports. And it's this element of rejection management and how we process rejection. It, like, if this is the trajectory of life, it makes a massive difference. And so we're talking about prospecting, and there's a lot of built-in failure and rejection. Says who? Like, who? I mean, let's go to baseball for a second, right? People that are batting 300, 3 out of 10, keep it simple for non-baseball, right? 3 out of 10, that's considered really good. That also means that 70% of the time you're failing, right? But that's framed as good. But a lot of times in the marketplace, if we're closing 30%, or if we only have 30% response, we're like, I don't know if this is worth it. It's not me. Who told us that lie? Like, no, that's actually really good. In fact, you know what you can do? You can build a profitable business off 10%. But there's always that one person, Chris. It all went good, but at the end of the day, I read that one comment. And it was just that last part of that sentence that they said that is just going to stick with me. And so there's actually these trapdoor temptations, and those trapdoor temptations are things that are meant. They're enticing mentally and emotionally, and they lie to us. They steal from us. They destroy ourselves, our business. That's what they do, and they lead us down a bad path. But if we understand healthy thinking and healthy like habits and discipline, and honestly, just not like from a religious standpoint, but just from a faith, like trusting the process standpoint of knowing if I create from the heart, I know I've experienced something. I know what problem I'm solving. What is created by the heart is felt by the heart. You're sharing that with people, and just trusting the process of knowing if you share and put yourself out there with enough people, that it will be refined, that it will come back more than you anticipated it would. And learning those lessons, man, Chris, my goodness, Eve, I'm the one talking to you, telling you these things of which you've experienced yourself. And a lot of people, this is what's crazy. Anyone watching this, you probably already know this stuff too. Maybe today is a timely reminder for you. Maybe this is new to you. And if it is, like, I'm still relearning this over and over, and need to remember it day by day in order to even grow and lead the teams that we're growing and leading.
Well, that's really good. Have you ever won American Ninja Warrior?
I haven't won American
But
Ninja
you're
Warrior.
a 4-time contestant?
That's correct, yes.
That's a great example of, we could say, failure, that you've never won American Ninja Warrior, but you've freaking been on 4 times. And that makes you one of the most physically fit humans I know. And that is truly the success that you want, I'm assuming, in paying off long-term in life. Sure, it'd be cool to have that trophy in the background. But yeah, I mean, you're getting something that will pay you for the rest of your life, even though you've, quote unquote, failed in the warrior competition.
And I'm so glad you brought that up, because there's a really funny part of that story that you just made me realize that I've never mentioned before. But this is the point. Like, this is what the rejection management and the prospecting, the perseverance, this principle played out in American Ninja Warrior, and I did not even realize it. No, even though I failed, I didn't make it to the finals, and I didn't conquer stage 1, 2, 3, and 4, which is dang near impossible, by the way. Anyway, the point is this. Mount Midoriyama is a 75-foot rope climb. That is, for everyone that hasn't seen American Ninja Warrior, it's 75 feet. It's 2 inches thick, which makes it harder to climb.
Yeah.
And then there's a little bit of stretch. So it's 75 feet-ish to go all the way to the top. Okay. That's conquering. That's getting to the end and conquering the show. Guess what? Anyone listening to this is a huge tip for life and business. Even though I didn't qualify in the business, guess what? I still found a way to get to Mount Midoriyama and climb to the top. So what's the punchline for all of us? It's in business, there's more than one path to accomplish the goal.
Mm-hmm.
And the creative mind of constantly saying, well, I can't, or I don't know how, but saying like, but how could I? How could I? How could I? Just ask that literally 1,000 times a day and let your brain answer that question and see what comes to mind and try a bunch of different stuff. So for me, I ended up being a tester.
No way.
Yep. And
cool.
so I didn't make it to the finals, but I got to test all the final obstacles.
That's fantastic.
And one of them was Mount Midoriyama. And that's when I climbed to the top and then basically needed medical attention. No, it was, I got to the end, even though I did, because like you're saying, the built-in failure, like I didn't let that stop me.
I freaking love that. And that is prospecting at its core. It's really giving. And it's giving people opportunity. It's giving people value. And it's giving yourself that chance to keep going and going and going and live. And I love living. And I love prospecting. I used to hate it, but once I got the mindset that you're talking about, now I really actually love it. I missed a time block this morning about prospecting, and I'm going to go back and make sure I catch up on it later this afternoon, which is breaking one of my own rules. Don't go back to your time blocks and try to fix them, but I want to prospect. I missed it. It's so great.
Yes, there's so much there. We assume that, it's going to go this way, it's going to go that way. Says what? Says some old sales manager, says some past rejection. Why? If we're going to play the what if game and the what if, scenarios, then let's play the what if scenarios. What if we meet our next best friend? What if we close the biggest deal that we've ever closed before? What if we're able to give the most fun connection referral and that if we're going to play the what if game, just be sure to play it on both sides, good and bad.
Very true. We always play it negatively. You're so right, man. Dude, you are a freaking rock star, for real. Thank you so much for adding value. And thank you. I'm going to thank you for this. Thank you for prospecting. Because you prospecting, let's just call this moment prospecting. If you're prospecting right now to the people we're talking to, you're giving so much value right now. Even if this is the end of the conversation with you and we turn the screen off from here, I have learned so much in the past 10 minutes. This is absolutely worth my time. Thank you.
Did you guys just hear did you see what he did there? That was really good. That was really good. The framing of prospecting, I was like, yes, like what's so fun about it is we're getting to that principle level that you're saying and leading with value and setting, I was like, oh, that was so good. And to be fair, just playing with the prospecting principle you just shared, we would not have met if it wasn't for prospecting, in that I know I had a problem. I knew that I had pain. And here comes along like that video. It's just like, oh, hey, I'm Chris Williams. And he's like, hey, you might be working too much and you need systems. And there's these other things. And I was like, oh my, and I knew like when I was like, dang it, he got me. Shoot. Because you're leading, you get it. Like you're leading with value. You've lived, you're being honest with yourself. You were working 16 hours a day. Oh, guilty, done that. And it used to be a cool thing. Now I'm ashamed. I don't want people to know how much I work. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. And so, but you opening up and sharing that story and sharing that value and saying, you know what, there is a different way. Saying, hey, actually, I'm a family guy. I've got 5 kids, and I was like, oh, I have 2, and I have a 3rd on the way. I'm going through the shift that you went through years ago, but because you took the time to actually lead with value, share those stories, I got to hear that and step into your world a little bit and be like, hey, number 1, there's hope. Number 2, it can be different. Those pains, those challenges that you're feeling, it doesn't have to be that way. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have to be that way. You can build a team. You can build the systems. You cannot resent calendars.
That's so true.
You can conquer them. And it's, so for me, what is prospecting is the pursuit of finding the right fit. And so I was in a pursuit, and so is Sean and Mel, and together, like, there's so many things that we align in terms of business and next steps. And this one, we're like, you just made it easy for us, Chris, because like you're executing, you have all the steps, you know what we're going to say. And you're like, all the other challenges that we bring, you're like, you actually don't need to worry about those things. Like, just do this. And you're like, oh my gosh, not only can I do it, but it's way easier than I thought it was even going to be to do it.
Yay.
So just thank you for that. So,
yeah. Yay. I'm so excited for you guys. So we're going to drop links to how to find you down below, up above, somewhere, wherever this thing is posted. And it's purpose-driven prospecting. That's what I love what you call that, because that is so real. Prospecting King, man. Chris, thank you for sharing. Thank you for sharing and for giving.
Yes.
Like through prospecting, thank you for giving value. Appreciate that.
Awesome. Yeah. Thanks, Chris.